Oh. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't even realize what I was wearing. Gift from Jalen.
What was your reaction to what happened in Indianapolis?
So obviously I'm only concerned about what's going on here. And trying to keep my eyes on it, just what the situation is here, and that's being ready for Washington. But as you know, what I think about Frank and how much I respect Frank as a person, how much I respect him as a football coach, you can probably imagine how I feel.
Nick, in what ways has Jalen's ascension as a passer opened up sort of the variety of ways in which you can attack a defense on a given week?
Yeah, he's been able to attack all parts of the field, and through different ways, through the different types of players we have, and that's outside, inside, short game, deep game, intermediate game, and so the more they have to prepare for, the harder we are going to be to defend, and so that's not only our run game, which is in the top tier of the league, but also in our passing game, and then just you open up the way the ball is coming out and where the ball is coming out there's just more and more to defend, and so that's tough on any defense. The more they got to defend, the harder it is for them.
Nick, a lot of success against Carson earlier in the season. How did things change with Taylor back there?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're doing some different things on offense now. And there's some things that we got to be alert for with him, and that's going to be different if there's a different play caller, if there's a different quarterback. Those are the two things. If their top receivers out, like whatever it is, there's going to be some differences there. I like the fact that we got some games on them, and not just it didn't just happen last week, and then we can study our game film against them last year, and so I got a lot of respect for him as a player. He's a scrappy player that finds ways to get it done. So we're gonna have to be on our game, any division game, and when you're playing a quarterback like this with that's scrappy and finds ways to make plays, you're gonna have to be on it.
John, sort of unique. The DBs go through catch circuits like the receivers. What do those catch circuits entail, and why is that important?
Yeah, I mean, that's how much time you got for me to explain the catch circuit? The catch circuit is just putting yourself in different positions to make to make catches that you aren't typically going to make. So if you and I were playing catch, Dave, I'd be putting it on your chin every single time because I'm like, boom, boom, all right, and you'd probably be putting it close to there too. I'm not saying it'd be perfect, but it'd be close to there. But you don't get the reps of maybe a ball that's low or a high or somebody hitting you on the side, and so we try to put ourselves in position to make those plays as much as we possibly can. So the first time you're catching a ball, and it's hard to simulate a dive, don't get me wrong, of the way Chauncey caught the one in the last game, the way James caught the one in the Jacksonville game. But wet ball, stuff like that, you're trying to put them in as many hard catching situations as they possibly can. So the first time that you go out there and you catch it is not, is not the first time, right? And so that's a Larry Karras thing all the way back to Mount Union, kind of how I trained myself to be able to catch.
So Gannon was also bragging about his ability to throw the ball the other day. Who's got the best arm on the staff?
Brian Johnson. I mean, he's in the Heisman running. I would have to say he's got on the staff. Yeah, shoot. I didn't think about Tanny. Yeah, Tanny's got to be up there. Brian's got to be up there. Jason Michael's up there. Jason Michael threw me one before the game on Thursday, and the spin was going so fast. Now there was good tack on the ball up there in the humidity in Houston. I almost tore my hand off. Shane can spin, and Shane was a starting quarterback at UNLV. Goodness, we got a lot. Kevin played quarterback and receiver at Central Florida or South Florida, and then he changed the receiver. I don't know. That's a good question. We probably should in the offseason have a throw-off.
Nick, Monday night, you're going to have 2 games over the last month as far as the long layoffs you've had, maybe throwing off some rhythm. Pluses or minuses to those things, and do you do anything different going into a normal game?
No, this one I know we're coming off of a little longer delay, and we're just going to have to go. Coming off the bye week, there's definitely something you do a little bit different. There's things that we did a little bit different coming off the bye week. This one, maybe not quite as much because you're not on quite as long of a delay. And so what we need to do, though, is really be able to come out here and compete and practice, and make it as much game-like as we possibly can without, tackling to the ground. But we'll be doing all our fundamentals with the tackling, all our fundamentals with taking the ball away, and then really popping in within the pads today out there in practice and let it simulate that as much as we can.
Just seeing these signs up here, what compels you to put them up?
Those have been up all year, to be quite honest with you. Those have been, and maybe not in this room, but those are in the receiver room. That's in the quarterback room. That's in the running back room. That's in the tight end room. And since this is our team meeting room, and then this is our offensive room, I guess the signs just got delivered. I mean, so it wasn't it wasn't anything to compel us. It's something that we've done all year in the other rooms, and we finally got the shipment in, I guess. I don't know. They put it up when they have them here, so that's why they went up, and that's why they're in there. They look pretty cool, though, right?
Nick, as far as the follow up on that previous question from John there, how does the team keep its mental edge when you can do what you can physically with the practice and such, but how does the team keep its mental edge when you're playing like your third game in the last 29 days?
Just about going about the same process every time, and that's dog mentality. That's your process, however you want to say it. Like, you can't ride the waves of the season. And I get it. You guys got to ask those questions, right? But we don't think of it that way. We're just like, hey, we're working this week, and we're working today to get ready for this upcoming game and nothing else. And so that's just our process. That's the guys that we have in this room. That's what we preach over and over and over again. That's what our captains believe, and that's just the mentality we have.
Hey, Nick, a natural thought would be, because of your relationship with Frank, to bring him in some capacity. Is that something that you're considering, and why or why not?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't know yet. That's not something that's been. I mean, that happened Monday, and my focus has been completely on Washington. So, again, you know how I feel about Frank, and I'm always going to use him as a consultant, whether he's in the building or whether he's not in the building. But I haven't really even thought about that, to be quite honest with you. We're just really focused on today to get ready for Washington.
And Nick, you mentioned last week, I think that Chauncey would bug you every now and then to play receiver and everything. Do you think that has something to do with all the interceptions, like the fact that defensive back used to be a wide receiver or something? Do you think that helps?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, guys that have caught the ball a lot, or and grew up catching the ball and played some wideout, or probably, I think that they'll think that they can play wideout, and he probably can. He could probably do some things out there, and there's no doubt. We got some good wideouts, though. I don't know how ready I am to take them off the field, but yeah, I mean, I think that. The guys that played multiple positions in high school, caught the ball. I mean, it goes back to, what you did as a kid and what you did in high school and playing. I hope I answered your question.
Two more, guys?
You mentioned, you always mentioned it's about going 1-0 this week, staying in the moment. I'm curious, you've been around a lot of teams, though. Is that rare to get a team that buys into that so fully?
I don't think so. I think you sometimes I think you get what you preach, right? And that doesn't, I mean, that might not be every single time, but I think if that's on your mind at all times, and I'm constantly talking to you about, if I'm constantly talking to you about, I don't even know a good example. Why Rube's the best writer in the building, right? That's just, if I'm at some point you're gonna be like, yeah, Rube's the best writer in the building. I don't know. I just looked at Rube and I said, or Martin. Martin's the best writer in the building. At some point, you're like, okay, yeah, you said it to me a million times. So to me, one thing I always say to the guys is good coaching and sometimes is I'm not hiding coaching points from you. I don't want to be like, boom, I got a new coaching point for you. Here it is, one day at a time. I'm not hiding any coaching points from them, and we say it all the time. And sometimes I think you get what you emphasize.
Nick, you need to upgrade at nose tackle with Jordan out for period.
I really have a lot of faith in the guys that we have playing in there. And I think that was a deep room coming in. Obviously, we'll miss Jordan because Jordan's a good player. But I had a lot of faith with the guys that are playing in there, and and I'm excited to continue to get them reps and more reps for guys that may not have got as many in the past.
Last one?
Jerry Longman from the New York Times.
Hey, Jerry.
I apologize ahead of time for a long-winded question about Jalen. So all the qualities.
You took a long ride down here, so go ahead, rip it.
He lives here, don't.
I covered the Eagles for the Philadelphia Inquirer 40 years.
Okay.
All the qualities that he's showing now for the Eagles, patience, calm, unflappability, ready when called upon, were evident in two famous games that he played in college, the 2018 National Championship game where he got replaced by Tua, and then later that year, the 2018 SEC Championship game where Tua got hurt and Jalen came in and saved the day. I was wondering, did you see those games when they happened, or have you talked to Jalen about them, and sort of what did they suggest about it?
Yeah, I remember watching I'm close with Brian Dable. Brian was a really good mentor for me, and so he was calling that 2018 national championship game. So I know we got till 35. I gotta go. But so I remember watching that game. I do recall watching that game. Got to see Devontae make a big play at the end of that game. And then that SEC championship game, I can't quite remember if I watched that or not. The SEC championship game's always in the middle of your season, but obviously you do all your work on a player coming out, right? And so maybe you'll watch that when I was in Indianapolis getting ready, for the draft or whatever, and that was something that was very evident with him. You could tell like how serious he was about football. And how much, that you knew he was a coach's kid, and I got a big time respect for that as a coach's kid, and just knowing how much you go around the game. But I don't know if I truly knew everything about how, steady he is until you're around him every single day. There's some things that you can do all the work in the world and you can get but when you live it every day, it smacks you in the face every day. Like, man, this guy's steady no matter what the situation. And so I would be lying to you if I said, yeah, we picked that up, right? You knew how high his football character was. You knew how high his football intelligence was and his general overall character as well. But to say that you knew, until you live that with him, I'm sure the Alabama coaches know, I'm sure the Oklahoma coaches know, but until you live that with them, that's when it becomes really impressive and you really feel it. All right. Thanks, everybody.